What is up, YouTube? My name is Eric Cooper, and in today's video, we have the whiteboard here because I'm gonna be showing you guys the different reselling business models that there are, what business model you should start with, and kind of the pros and cons about all these different business models within Amazon reselling. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Eric Cooper. I've sold over $2 million on Amazon, and I've actually been able to automate most of my Amazon business, okay? So I actually have virtual assistants that do the sourcing, they do the ordering. I have a prep center that does the prepping, so I never touch or see the products that my team purchases, and I never actually have to search for the products that my team purchases, okay? So let's talk about the three models within Amazon reselling. So we have RA, which is retail arbitrage, we have OA, and then we have wholesale, okay? These are the three business models within reselling, okay? For those of you guys that don't know what each one is, so retail arbitrage, this is when you guys go inside in stores to something like, say, a Walmart, right? You go in store to Walmart, you buy the product off the shelf, right? You drive to Walmart, scan products, do whatever you want to do there, okay? Super cool, right? Online arbitrage, very similar to retail arbitrage here, but instead of going, in person to Walmart, you actually buy Walmart online, okay? So you go online to Walmart. I know my writing's a little bit chopped, okay? But you go online to Walmart and you just purchase from the online portal or the Target online portal or the Sam's Club online portal, okay? This is a great way to get into Amazon because you're not going to stores, right? Most of you watching this might have a full-time job. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you just don't have a ton of time, or maybe you're just lazy and you don't want to go in person into a store and start scanning stuff, okay? Because I know I don't want to do that. That's kind of the differences between those two. Wholesale is it's similar to OA, but it's basically when you go to suppliers, okay? This is not going to Walmart, okay? This is going to literal suppliers and buying in bulk to get discounted pricing. Now, I want everyone to understand here, wholesale is not what you want to start with, okay? Everyone will tell you otherwise, every guru will tell you otherwise because it's easy to talk about, it's easy to sell people on the dream with wholesale and the fact that you can buy products at retail price or wholesale price and then sell it for retail price. That's not realistic at all, and wholesale is the most dangerous way to start selling on Amazon. And I say dangerous because most people that start with wholesale, they don't know anything about Amazon, they lose thousands of dollars, okay? This is not me trying to scare you. Well, in fact, it actually is me trying to scare you a little bit because I don't want to see you lose money, okay? I think if you're watching this, you're new to Amazon, you have these two options, okay? This is what you should start with realistically. I'll explain why before you say, why shouldn't I go to wholesale, blah, 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 blah. Okay, before we, fully disqualify that, I'll explain why in a second, but let's talk about the benefits to starting with retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. So let's talk about the biggest one. Oh, don't mind my writing here. I accidentally made that an E. It's easy, okay? Easy. It's supposed to be easy, okay? My writing is a little chopped here, but it's easy, okay? Starting with these two models are easier because you're not actually trying to cold call suppliers. You're not, starting with thousands of dollars for like an MOQ or anything like that. It's a lot easier to get into, okay? Now, with retail arbitrage, here's where your drawback is, okay? And that is scaling, okay? Scaling. You cannot scale retail arbitrage. It's very impossible, not impossible, it's very difficult to scale this operation, okay? Most people doing retail arbitrage usually cap at $40K a month, okay? Most people that I know that do retail arbitrage here, they're capped at about $40,000 a month, okay? And this is literally them working, 3 to 4 hours a day minimum of, shipping out orders, going in person to different stores, scanning products. It's a lot of labor, okay? And that's, again, just to pretty much hit 40K a month. So it's hard to scale this business model, which is why retail arbitrage is not really the best way to, long-term sell on Amazon, but it's an okay way to start. Now, online arbitrage, to be honest, the only con to online arbitrage, okay, and this is me being 100% real with you guys. Okay, I'm gonna explain this. Skill, okay, I should say skill gap, but it's the skill gap between OA and RA. The only problem with online arbitrage is most people give up too soon, okay? Most people give up too soon on doing online arbitrage, finding profitable products, finding good inventory to sell. Most people give up. They don't have the correct sourcing strategies. They don't know where to actually look for products, right? Because finding products is the biggest thing, right? If you can find profitable products, you can have a very successful business. Nothing else really matters. You could have the best repricing software, the best inventory managing tool. You could be the smartest man in the world, but if you don't know how to find products, you don't have a business with any of these things, okay? Now, the only problem is just the skill gap, okay? Retail arbitrage, it's easy to get quick wins. You could be not very smart, just kind of go in, scan stuff, and find products, right? And that's cool, that's great. But the real key here is that you want the longevity of OA. And what I mean when I say longevity, it's just you're capped at 40K a month here with retail arbitrage, but at least with online arbitrage, you have a business model that is scalable, right? That can make you a lot of money. It's just a little bit of a longer time frame to learn and master the skills of OA. Okay, that's all I've learned. I've seen people master this quickly, but if I'm being honest, not everyone's going to master it within their first 2 months, okay? But you can learn it quickly, and if you focus on doing this business model, you at least know you're not gonna be stuck. Whereas RA, you might get your dopamine quick, you might get some sales quick, but in 2 to 3 months, you're gonna say, dang, I wish I spent 2 to 3 months doing online arbitrage because now I at least have a skill that's a lot more scalable. I'm not gonna be capped at 40K a month, and I could at least have some freedom with this business, okay? Retail arbitrage, you're not getting any freedom, okay? You're now just self-employed most of the time. At least that's what I see with most retail arbitrage business owners, okay? They're just self-employed. They're not really business owners. They're self-employed, okay? Very big difference. Online arbitrage, you can go into VAs, right? Virtual assistants, for those of you guys that don't know what that is. Overseas employee that can, help you find products, order products. You can use prep centers, again, to, not have to touch or see the products. So there's just a lot more benefits to starting off with something like OA anyways. If you have less than $500, maybe I would say start with retail arbitrage if you have less than like 500. But to be honest, try to save a little bit of money and just jump straight to OA. Because like I said, I think it's just way better. It's more long-term. You might as well learn all the skills on how to do OA and you have that business model that's more scalable. Now, we're gonna come back here to wholesale again on why this is just the worst way to get started. And I really encourage everyone to avoid this because everyone thinks it's super easy and it's not, okay? The margins are lower in wholesale. That's another thing that people don't tell you about. Wholesale is good if you wanna get to 500K a month, okay? And you already know Amazon. But if you don't know Amazon, which you're watching this probably because you don't know enough, you just don't want to get into wholesale, okay? You will place a PO with a distributor that's fake. You will either place an order with a distributor that sells you fake product. I've even seen distributors sell stolen products. There's little operations where they steal cargo and then wholesale it out. And you're one of those guys that they wholesale out to. So it's just way too risky unless you have a really good person over your shoulder helping you with wholesale. I would highly suggest avoiding this, okay? Unless you 100% know this person is super knowledgeable and they're at the top of the game, I would highly suggest avoiding wholesale, okay? But to conclude the video, I would recommend everyone here start with online arbitrage. This is the business model that I focused on, mastered. I now have a team that does, again, a lot of that work. okay? You cannot do that with retail arbitrage, wholesale, I just didn't even want to mess with, okay? I wanted to scale up to 100K a month and not play with Amazon anymore, and that's what I did. So you can do it, you can make it automated like me. That's what I would recommend all you guys do, is just start with OA, scale up to whatever numbers you want, and then start implementing team slowly. Or you could jump straight into the team if you have some capital and you want to just scale things really quickly. You could jump straight into a team, but you still have to learn everything as you go along. That is my advice. Hopefully guys, if you enjoyed this video, or you want to learn a little bit more about scaling online arbitrage, maybe you're struggling with finding products, or you just need a little bit of extra guidance, you could actually apply to work with me below this video. Or I actually have a free live training, okay? Live training. There it is, free live training, okay? So if you guys want to just learn how to do this a little bit more live, actually watch me do OA live, how to actually start and scale that business, you can attend and just register that below this video, and you can learn how to do it completely for free, okay? You get a full hour and a half, 2 hours with me. I do Q&A at the end, and you can learn how to do this business. So just register for that below this video, and I'll see you guys later.